So.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mod Zoo After Hours. Hey guys, well, I know we're a little bit later than usual, but we have a very special guest who's on the other side of the planet, so we moved our time to match his and give him a chance to get some coffee into his system. But we're going to be talking to somebody who once worked with ABIT and then went to Bitfenix and has moved on since to Fractal Design. And so we're going to pick his brains for all of the little tidbits that we can. Before we get to our guest, however, we have Bill.
Hey everybody, it's glad to be back at the Hangout.
And I would hand off to yet another one of our miscreants, but that's it, me and Bill. But with us today, we have David Jarlestedt, who is currently working with Fractal Design.
Hi guys, thank you for having me on the show.
Good morning, David.
Good evening, good morning.
Yeah. Do you have your coffee today?
I have my coffee. I'm adding it slowly to my system. I hope it works before the show ends. But you're welcome to pick my mushy brains at any time.
Okay. All right, yeah, we started the Hangout 3 hours later than normal, so we could accommodate David's schedule. It's Monday in Taiwan, and it's 8:12 in the morning. So
that is correct.
And usually, David, when we've had correspondence over Skype, it's been similar kind of situation where I've had to connect with you later in the evening. And we've been corresponding for what, almost 2 years now?
I think so, something like that.
Yeah.
We have sort of like brushed past each other throughout the years at other occasions. Like I've seen your work, and maybe you've seen mine. But I think our Skype sessions these past 2 years, that's been the first real contact we've had. I think it has to do with where I've been placed, my position, what I've been working with. I suppose you are mostly in touch with poor PR people who rotate quickly, and yeah, that's usually the case.
It was. I remember the first time that we talked, and I already knew about you because I'd seen your videos back in 2010. You were making product videos for Bitfenix on YouTube, and as far as I'm aware, somebody out there correct me, but David was the first product manager from a PC hardware manufacturer making YouTube videos. And let me know if you remember those videos. You can go and still find the original Bitfenix channel. Let me pull it up here and just see how many videos David was making.
Oh dear, yeah. We were so poor too. My mic setup was not good.
Oh, that's right. That was one of the big things I remember, is that David always had a microphone when he did the videos. It was revolutionary.
Real microphone hanging in my chest.
Yes.
Not one of those nice little sticky things. No.
Yeah, it was very late night television style.
The real piece.
Yeah. But I remember that. So here's a great example here. This, to me, being an enthusiast in this hobby, I thought this was the coolest thing ever. There's actually the guy that's behind the designs at the company, and he's making videos, and he's taking feedback from the audience. That was revolutionary, dude.
I wouldn't have known. It just felt like the right thing to do. A lot of the things we did in Bitfenix were, well, I mean, I wouldn't go so far and call it like counterculture or anything, but we all came out of these pretty big corporations, these rigid Taiwanese IT giants, right, where you have your position, and the user of your products is very far away, and we wanted to get closer to the users and also show that we were not, you know, slightly as uptight as everybody else. So yeah, we thought it was a good idea, although the technology that we had was not the best, but we did get some videos out there. Yeah.
I think the fact that you had a microphone kind of showed it as more of a DIY that people respected too, though.
That's nice that people are so forgiving. Yeah. I mean, there must have been like a product presentation videos, right? Like forever, some good-looking person with a perfect script presenting a product, right? So I don't know. It just felt like the real thing, the right thing, and the real thing to do. Yeah.
I think it was. I think it made an impression on a lot of people because, for example, the Prodigy, that to me, that case, and I know a lot of people would agree, was like an overnight success. After it was announced at Computex, it exploded.
Yeah, it kind of did. A little bit unexpectedly for us. I mean, Mini ITX, it still is a niche, so it was not the safest thing to go for.
Mm.
But we had a pretty good feeling that it was a form factor that could be fun, but wasn't, kind of. Yeah.
Was
That's what it came out of.
and then also the fact that you boldly offered a wide range of unique colors for it too, which other manufacturers, other than like Chief Tech Dragon in the early years, like the late '90s, Alienware, no one else was doing that.
I suppose so. It's also something that, you know, people who run companies and salespeople, they're pretty scared of releasing too many versions of a product. It usually doesn't sit well with the retailers and the distributors that you have so many options because they have to list them all, and what usually happens is that they end up having overstock and old dead stock of the boring color, the one that didn't stick. So that's a real boring reason why it doesn't happen that often, but again, we felt it was the right thing to do. A lot of people told us they wanted more color.
Mm-hmm. We're taking a look at the video of the Bitfenix Hydra Pro, and another thing that was Bitfenix started was this. This had the rubberized surface as well, too, right, David?
The Yes, that was kind of Bitfenix's thing in the beginning.
Yeah.
To have the nice rubber coating. I have to plug in my second battery
Sure.
live on the air. I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna go get it.
That's all right, man. You're still
Right
waking up. Drew, do you remember these videos? Seeing these Bitfenix videos?
I've seen a few of them in the past. I don't recall watching too many of them, but what I did take away was the fact that he was getting in there and he was actually showing you how things came apart, a lot like you do your videos when you're getting into a case. And it wasn't just a sterile kind of overview. It was an actual, hey, and you might have some difficulty getting this part in, but I'm going to show you exactly how we engineered it to work, kind of a situation. It was a really great way of handling it.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, look at this. I mean, show me another product manufacturer that is willing to make themselves look this silly and have fun. I mean, that connects with people, you know? It's like, man, this guy's cool. You know, he's being silly and he's putting it out there. And they made a great product. And Bitfenix, when they started, they didn't follow anybody. They were doing their own thing, you know? So...
well, now that we have hopefully have David back here, maybe.
See.
No, not yet. Okay.
Yeah, that's understood.
Dropped out.
Did you notice the gun, the plastic gun behind him in the first video?
Yeah, the airsoft. Yep.
Yeah. I recall in an interview David had with somebody, he said to them, he said, hey, drop by our offices in Taipei anytime. We've got all kinds of fun and games that we can. I can imagine those guys had a blast in the office, you know?
Yeah, yeah. We've been threatening to pick up a bunch of the USB Nerf stuff for our office too, but we live in a dungeon, so we can get away.
You know, we'll ask David about ABIT, where he started his career. I do know that Lester Lau left ABIT and helped launch Bitfenix with Thomas Cullenbach and also, I believe, Raymond Wu, who went on to Cooler Master. But Lester Lau was the guy behind a lot of the designs, and I'm not sure. I don't think he did videos that often. David can clarify. But
yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Where do I start? From the very beginning, that's a long story. But
yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Let's start at ABIT. How you got involved with ABIT?
Well, that was. Thank God I'm back. My ThinkPad is killing me. I have broken the little clip that holds the replacement battery in place. I don't know how I broke it, but you know, throw it in and out of your backpack all the time. And they're hot swappable, right? Which is awesome. So I can have an extra 6-cell or 9-cell battery and plug it in when I need it, right? But I broke this clip, and now so it doesn't sit there very firmly. And the hot swap logic, that little chip that handles that, it does not like when the battery moves around and the computer just crashes. And that's what happened right now. I tried to just plug in the battery and I crashed out and had to restart. Thank God for SSDs, or I would still be starting up here, right? Yeah, from the beginning. I'm from Sweden. Hello. Yeah. And I ended up in Taiwan because I had to see about a girl. Now my wife met this Taiwanese girl. And, well, what do you know? I mean, there's a lot of IT here, and that's always been my passion since I was a little boy, playing those Commodore 64 games, and then on to PC. So, what was it? My wife's friend had a birthday in a KTV, and I ran into this South African dude who was working for ABIT. And I started chatting with him rather than singing Taiwanese love tunes. And because I was a big ABIT fan, this was the IC7 and F7 days, like early days of actually being able to overclock for real. Yeah, there you go. It's beautiful. Oh, I think they were among the first to also put heat pipe cooling on North bridges and South bridges. Yeah. So I wasn't even. I'm not an engineer. I'm not an educated market person or a salesperson or anything. But I guess my enthusiasm. He remembered my enthusiasm, so he let me know that they needed a guy to handle marketing for the Nordic countries. And hey, I'm Swedish, and I did know what a motherboard did. And so that's how I joined ABIT, as a very entry-level marketing slave, staying in touch with mostly Swedish and Nordic media, getting the reviews done, things like that. But while working for ABIT, I also started getting involved with that guy. He has a fatality.
You were the first. Well, ABIT was the first to use like a celebrity persona to endorse their product.
I believe so. Yeah, yeah. ABIT were the first with many things, and I think that's that and the general tone in the people, like the culture in the company. it's really memorable for everybody who worked there. It's strange. It's like they still like set up these like ABIT friend meets. You know, we all meet at a Starbucks and oh, remember the ABIT days. It's kind of weird. You don't usually do that for a motherboard company, right? But somehow, and it's hard to explain why or how, but we had a good thing going, and that has stuck with people even afterwards. So people I haven't worked with in almost 10 years, you run into them at Computex or on the town, and yeah, you have something in common. And so this is where I met Lester, and also the current CEO of Bitfenix, Coco. So that's how we got to know each other. They left ABIT earlier than I did. I stayed almost to the very end. And Lester started running Code 5, one of the very early esports tournaments. I mean, this was before it was like big TV esports. This was even before like live streaming on the internet. I mean, you could do it, but it was very cumbersome and speeds were bad. And yeah, there you go. When it was time to leave ABIT, Coco and I and a few other people started working for Cooler Master to start this new gaming category or gaming sub-brand at Cooler Master, and that became CM Storm. So I worked there for 3 years, and I was taking care of the case products mostly, defining what they should be and working with the designers to define what they should look like and how they should work. And yeah, it's like the very first generation. That's all my fault.
Oh man, they were awesome. I love CM Storms. I still like the Trooper today.
That's nice. I think Trooper was after my time. I did Scout and Sniper, those two. And then it was time for Bitfenix. So
Lester, was Lester like a product engineer, or what was Lester's role at Bitfenix? Well, ABIT. You met Lester was at ABIT, right?
I met him at ABIT. He left sort of halfway into my ABIT stint to start his own gaming tournament, Code 5, and he did that with Thomas. Thomas and Lester were never employees of Cooler Master, but we worked with them, and we also sponsored Code 5, like 1 season or 2 seasons. Yeah. And also we got to know Poe, who became the lead designer at Bitfenix. All the exterior designs, all the aesthetics, all the logo types, like he was everything from graphic design to product visual design at Bitfenix. And then I did the insides, so to speak, with my very limited engineering knowledge. But the truth is, the factories have engineers, so as long as you tell them where you want things to be located and how they should work together, you can work together and they'll draw it up for you, and you test it and test it and test it until you get there. It's a bit of a roundabout way to do it, but it works. It really does. Bitfenix never had any engineers, like actual engineering diploma people. They might now, I'm not sure, but we did not at the time, because I was certainly not that. I just had sort of a vision, like an idea of what the product should look like, and then you work very closely with someone who knows how to draw it up in a manufacturable way.
Well, that's a lot like what you do at Fractal Design. You've been at Fractal Design for how many years now?
It's coming up. This is my 4th year. It's going to be 4 years soon. Yeah. Fractal design does have engineers, though.
Yeah, they got
That's
that like 2 or 3 guys, right?
yeah,
In-house.
in-house. I've got 5 people on my team now, and we could call 3 of them at least engineers. Oh, probably 4. They all have engineering diplomas, different ways. Mechanical engineering. Swedish universities have different titles, so I'm not sure how to translate them. But design engineers, and it's called civil engineer. Do you have that title in the U.S.?
Yes.
Civil engineering is very broad. It's everything from
very
like
broad.
bridges and parks
Yeah.
to cars to
Totally.
even engineering. I don't know how to break it down, but yeah, we handle mechanics and electronics and ID, industrial design, in-house. So at Fractal, we do a lot more ourselves than Bitfenix ever did, but I wouldn't know for the last couple of years since I left Bitfenix. They probably have good people now.
We had got a question from one of the viewers asking, what happened to ABIT?
ABIT, okay, well, this is public knowledge. It was in the news in Taiwan. ABIT had a huge scandal. The big boss, the president, like majority shareholder, probably. This was a publicly listed company. It was listed on TaiEx, the Taiwan Stock Exchange. So everyone from like grandmother to taxi driver had shares in ABIT. This dude decided to just steal a bunch of money. I don't know how he managed, but he was caught, but the money was gone. Something like this. And that sort of lowered public opinion about our company. And it also meant there wasn't much money left. They were really struggling already when I joined the company. So, yeah, a huge scandal, economic crimes, and eventually business was so bad. I mean, that was too much of a hole in the company's finances, I believe, to really recover from it. So the brand and then associated business units were sold to this OEM giant in Taiwan called USI, United Scientific Industrial. One of these companies, now for the last 20, 30 years, they've been making industrial motherboards for industrial use. And now they thought that they should leverage that knowledge and production knowledge to have their own brand. And they figured that ABIT was a strong brand. And it was. But it was around this merger time that I got the offer from Cooler Master and I left. But yeah, what really happened to ABIT? Crime happened to ABIT. The big boss stole the money and tried to run away. He was busted, but hey, he's still not in jail. He's not allowed to leave the country, probably, but he's not in jail.
Is that fatality?
Yeah, Jonathan, man, he just ran away with the money. With his railgun under his arm. He'd wish. I don't know. He lives in Las Vegas. He's like a pro poker player nowadays, right?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
He's doing good. I like what I like about Jonathan. He's always got a great attitude. He's still got a huge fan base, and he's still working with ASRock with his branding.
Yeah. And do they do memory still? I think they shifted from through a couple of memory brands, but they like A-Data or something like that.
Oh, really? That's owned by ASRock?
Oh, no. I mean, if Fatality also has Fatality branded memory with
I don't think so.
maker.
I think it's just last I looked, it was motherboards and headsets. Could be
Right.
could be other peripherals. I haven't really followed his stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
Jonathan is a nice guy, though. I always
Yeah.
liked him. We had fun. Yeah. Good guy.
Now, I haven't seen too many of the Fatality keyboards kicking around anymore, but if anyone watching has seen anything, let us know, because that'd be something to look into for something to hack up for a mod, I guess. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, yeah. I met him at CS in 2010. Really, just a genuine, down-to-earth guy. And Joe in the chat is validating that he met him at QuakeCon. It's exactly, we said the same thing. Down to earth. Yeah, he's an American kid still in a way, you know. So it's. Anyways, Fractal Design. You've been there for 4 years, and as far as I can see, you're doing everything right. You're rocking and rolling.
I'm glad to hear that. Internally, it's always turmoil, you know, whether we are doing things right or not. But I think that's probably a healthy attitude to have, so we can stay on our toes, so to speak.
Yeah, we had just at MMPC Tech released a clear window panel kit for the Define Nano S, and it was just this week, and I've actually gotten more sales than I predicted with it, and I think I underestimated how many people have a Define Nano S case. Do you have any idea, David, like what the units were just to the U.S., how many were shipped over?
No.
It's thousands, though. I could say that safely, right?
I do look at product like sales data every now and then. You have to know how the product is doing, but I don't know how many units were shipped to where. No, we're very happy if that's the case.
Yeah,
we like it. It's a cute little thing, but still. I think it holds everything that Fractal Design stands for, really, in a very, very small package.
Yes. Quality at a great price.
Yeah.
You know, so, Drew and I were talking earlier about how, you know, the whole lack of monster full towers in the market, and Fractal hasn't made a full tower since the Define XL for like, what, 4 years or 3 years they stopped making it?
Yeah, about 2 or 3 years. Define XL R2 and the Arc XL.
Yeah.
True. I mean, I know there's obviously some die-hard fans out there, and some people that you know, that think that more is more somehow, or just has a lot of space at home.
He loves his 3.5-inch drives.
It's not where we see like growth, like a growth trend. That certainly points towards the smaller direction.
Yeah.
And our market is global. But definitely in the U.S., I can imagine, and probably elsewhere too, there will be, you know, some freaks who just need everything as much as possible, as big as possible.
Yes,
we're not done. We're not done with full towers, but our focus has been elsewhere.
No,
for the last couple of years.
Understood.
But you know, as always, stay tuned, and we're working on it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you've got some surprises up your sleeve over there, David.
Oh, we always do.
Yes. Another question comes in, and this is from Senzaya. I got a question. David, what was the worst product you had to work with, and why?
Oh my God.
Don't burn any bridges.
Yeah, there's too many. I know that's a non-answer, but there's too many. There's so many products that, you know, many that also never became products, but they were certainly projects that I had to spend my time on. Jesus, what's the worst that also came out? Oh, it was the last thing I worked on in Cooler Master, and it was part of making it more acceptable for me to lead. It was this notebook cooler.
Oh,
the mission from management was that we need a gaming notebook cooler, which kind of like there was some kind of sense in it because those huge desktop replacement gaming notebooks that I suppose they still exist. They're too big to lug around.
yes, I've seen
But
them. Like
they're
those
not quite a
Alienware
desk,
ones.
they're not a desktop. They're put in something that looks like a laptop, but
Yeah.
it weighs like 40 pounds, and it has a battery life of like 30 minutes even out of the box. And I suppose, yeah, they did run kind of hot, some of them. But the real truth, ladies and gentlemen, is that notebooks, they take care of their cooling needs internally very, very well, and there's very little you can do to help with that. I think that is the real truth about notebook coolers. But, CM Storm was a gaming brand. What do you do after you make the first couple of cases and a mouse and a keyboard and a headset? And one of those one of those ideas that pop up then is a gaming notebook cooler. It didn't turn out well, I think. No.
This is one of those aluminum slabs with the vents on it and the fan that tries to pull air in. And yeah.
But I mean, what do? You blow cold air on the bottom surface of the notebook. If it has its intakes there, it might help slightly, like very little. Because unless you're sitting in the, maybe unless you're gaming in the desert or something like that, maybe then your ambient temperature is super high. Maybe, I don't know. That's probably one of the worst products that I felt like while working with it, I was doubting how this could ever sell. Yeah, how this could ever be good for anyone. But
it just boils down to marketing at that point. It's their challenge.
sometimes you're just an employee who has to do what the boss says. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Another question I read was the whole rubberized surface with the Bitfenix cases. Whose idea was that? How did you guys stumble into that?
I'll tell you what, super simple, and it's not like we were the first to rubber coat anything. That kind of surface treatment has existed forever. I have always been a ThinkPad guy. For traveling for work, I always had first IBM ThinkPad and later on Lenovo ThinkPad. This battery issue here might make me switch over to someone else, but there was a couple of generations of ThinkPads that had a really awesome, very nice feel to them. It was rubberized, and that's what inspired me. So I thought I want to have a computer case that has this. I didn't know how much it cost, so at the very least I wanted to have it around like the touch areas that you touch a lot, like around the front I/O, power buttons and such. But it turned out that it was not too expensive, so we put it on there. A lot of mice had it already too, but my inspiration was actually ThinkPad notebooks. Yeah.
I've got one of these ThinkPad 420s sitting right next to me that has that rubberized feel to it. So I know.
think that was that generation, yeah.
Yeah.
420, and I had the X61 or X210, the more portable one.
They all had that same general shape, but they were the varying sizes. But that generation, yeah, you can always tell who actually uses theirs the most because the rubberized coating right around the wrist rest area starts to polish out perfectly.
Yeah, yeah. I have a couple of mice that are like that. To the point where they become like gooey like like it's not just coming off; it's like disintegrating in your hand.
Yes, I remember that. I had a Logitech mouse that had that on it. Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
G5 had it. I think it is on the thumb rest.
Another thing that Bitfenix was the first to do was retail individually sleeved power supply cables and power cables. And was that something you were involved with, or was that Thomas when he was at Bitfenix?
No, that was still me. Actually, all the products up until the Prodigy and the Ghost, that was all me. And the designer that I mentioned, Poe, P.O. Poe, that's his name. It came out of it's weird because we didn't even like plan on them selling much, but they did. It was one of those things when you're a new company and you only have a couple of products and you approach resellers and distributors. If you still only have a few products in their like sales systems where they track and build orders and things like that, and also how they list you on websites, if you only have a few products, you end up in the sort of like the miscellaneous other brands category. So this was a trick to get a bigger lineup to kind of force them to create our name in their database, to create the Bitfenix category. So we figured, hey, cables, like if you're going to extend cables, you're going to need a whole lot of different ones. And sleeved cables were popular, but a lot of people, most people, I don't think there were any companies that were selling sleeved cables.
Not at that time. You guys were the first. They were the Alchemy brand.
Yeah, Alchemy. I mean, we knew about modders sleeving their own, and we knew that this was very time-consuming. So that's where that idea came from. But really, there was a business reason. It was to make all these distributors and retailers, so kind of like to force them to take us seriously.
Yeah, when you're also you're blanketing the market with your name in a way.
I suppose, yeah. And they turned out pretty nice. I was pretty happy with them, and they did sell very well. They became more popular than we expected because we still thought that, oh, this is like a couple of guys. This is like 10 guys in every country who actually like to spend time on doing this. Yeah.
I sought some out for a project I did a few months ago because I know they're really, it's good quality, and it was like a paracord. It was very soft, the sleeving on it, and it was an orange color I needed, and I noticed that here in the U.S. that most of the places that stock it have run out of stock. There's like just a handful either on Amazon or eBay. So it's definitely it's sold, man.
I think they're still selling it with Phoenix. I want to know. Or did they stop making it? I mean, it's out of stock, or it's just...
Well, it was the Alchemy that I was looking for specifically, and I could not find... I noticed that the distribution was a lot smaller than what it used to be.
Joe Mercado in the chat points out, Bill, is people just hate sleeving things.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's time consuming. I mean, do I want to go into the shop and actually get several tasks done, or just sleeve all day? I mean, so
cables are, like, even when you buy sleeve cables, they're cheap enough. This always, I don't know why, but people sitting down sleeving cables by hand, and to some extent some modding practices too, it reminds me of these crazy live role-playing dudes sit at home to make their own chainmail shirt and spend like 1,000 hours putting these rings together.
Yeah.
Because I knew guys like this growing up. Yeah,
It's
but it's cool.
therapeutic.
I like it when people go for it. Yeah, it becomes. It's like knitting. If you're not a grandmother, but it's like knitting.
It is kind
No,
of like
that's actually the exact mindset. My mother got me into a lot of those handcrafts as a kid, so
Mhm.
that's a perfect analogy for it.
It is very therapeutic. You get into a zone somehow, contemplating while making your chainmail or sleeving your cables.
I remember I watched the entire I bought the Planet of the Apes DVD set, and I remember watching that over a weekend while doing a power supply the whole time on the couch.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought, okay, this was an experience I can say I've done it myself, and just time-wise, it just expense time-wise, it just didn't make sense to me anymore. You know, it just so there's so many different sources now for retail individually sleeved cables. It seems like Fantex this year they released their own line, and of course there's Thomas's company, Cable Mods, cablemods.com. And yeah, and Joe Mercado. He works with the $1 Million PC sleeving, and he does sleeving for Xforma, formerly Murder Mods. David, do you remember Murder Mods? Those cases?
I remember the name. I don't have a picture in my mind now.
What they did is they took this Silverstone TJ07 and they customized it with their own fabrication of different pieces of the chassis. They took the basic chassis and then they gave it its own custom look. And at the time, $1 Million PC, speaking of sleeving, Nils was offering his own brand of sleeving in Germany, and he had this website, the $1 Million PC Gallery, where all like the world premier customizers and modders of PCs would showcase their builds, and that's really what helped launch individually sleeved cables, power supplies, and these Murder Mods cases.
Cool. Nice.
Let's talk more about Fractal design. Can you give us, without breaking any agreements with the board of members? Can we, what do we have to look forward to over the next year?
Well, everybody knows Define. We make cases named Define, and they all kind of look the same and kind of work the same, but with different insights. And that's to cater to different kinds of users. Really, you have everything from S, which is very, very open, and well, it's extremely open, and it's made that way on purpose to get everything out of the way of like a main airflow column through the case, and then all the way to the R, which is the R5 now. And the R is supposed to be more like very flexible. It can become whatever you want it to become. I would like to say you can almost turn it into an S by ripping everything out, and you sort of can. But one gives you all the possibilities out of the box, and the other one gives you this more slim scenario where you don't have to pay for all the stuff that you don't need anyways, because you already have your mind set on a certain type of build, which usually means pretty much all custom water cooling loops and such. So Define is our strongest brand. We will continue with Define, but in the next year you will start seeing some perhaps even for Fractal Design, surprising looks coming out. And so I think that's all I can tell you. You will see more defined variations coming out, but you will also see very non-defined looking cases coming out for the first time in a while. And I'm sorry, I can't talk too much about products that are not released.
Yeah, you don't want to get in trouble.
No, I don't want to get in trouble.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, understood. It's a very competitive market, and there's always people watching and lurking. We had AMD's Robert Halleck from AMD. He's their marketing manager for their engineering, and he was on last weekend, and
Cool.
we quickly realized that the conversation was only going to go so far.
Yeah. AMD is probably even tighter in terms of the risk of industrial espionage. But I mean, copying happens, and also I'm a product guy. That's all I do. I develop the products. I don't, so to speak, communicate the products. That's for marketing people and salespeople to do. So I shouldn't overstep my boundaries. I can talk about what's already done, but what's coming out next, I need to let them communicate that. That's pretty nice. I still like your blue defineness very much.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's handsome. It's very handsome.
David, I do have one question I asked from the Mod My Mod guys a couple of weeks back, where you are a design guy. If you could go back to any point within the last 7 to 10 years and pick one thing, one defining mini product that you would like to see come back into the modding industry or cases in general, what would you choose?
Laptop cooler.
Yeah, exactly. To come back. Jeez.
Yeah,
I mean, I think there's a reason for things to go away. You know what I mean? When they're not here anymore, there's a reason, usually. But I'm sorry, you were cutting out. I didn't catch the last part.
Oh, basically, it's something that you saw that you think missed its opportunity, that you'd like to give a second shot.
Oh, God. Yeah, there's so much. Now I'm trying to think of not only my own products, unless I've been working. See, this is hard because I think everything has become better, and if ideas were good and they didn't stick the first time, again, I realize this is a non-answer, but if something was good but it didn't stick the first time because it was before its time or was not executed well, you can be damn sure that it will pop up again in a better executed product. I'm pretty sure that is the case. The market, or rather the people who want to make money off of the market, they rarely miss these details. If something was good, it's bound to come back. How about the headset stand?
Headset stand?
The headset stand attached to the case.
You know what? That's funny because
Jokes aside, but sometimes I wish I had it. Sometimes.
What case was it that you just reviewed, Bill?
Exactly. I just reviewed the new Cougar Panzermax full tower, and it has this bracket on the front that screws onto the front on either side for holding your gaming headset.
Nice. Is it well executed?
Yeah, it's well done. My only complaint about it is that it has to go to like 4 different dedicated spots on the front. It's not like where you could just like have it whatever height. It would have been cool if they had like whatever height, you know, like a rail kind of thing. But it's cool though, and actually it makes total sense because I've got like 3 different headsets just lying on the workspace next to the PC or on top of the PC. Yeah, so
That's right in front of me, right here. I've got a plastic hook that I've screwed into a wooden shelf to hang my headsets in between everything. So yeah, what I would actually like to see a variation on that would be a retractable one that you snap out from the side of the case.
Didn't TT have that?
thermal
Or
tape?
you folded it out on the side?
It sounds very familiar. Very familiar.
But that one was like, it was not strong.
Right.
No,
That's what I remember.
something that would have snapped off first try. Something aluminum, something sturdy. That's what I'd like to see.
Oh, I can handle that.
Sure you can.
Let's see here. Yeah, TT had, well, they had their own individual stand. Let's see.
They had something that flipped out from the side of the chassis.
Yeah, in the chat, if anybody remembers, oh, yeah, the level 10, perhaps? The level
No.
10 had that?
No, it wasn't that one.
It wasn't the level 10?
No, it was more of a regular. Well, regular. It was a gaming case, but it was not as conceptual as the level 10.
Oh, I know what it was. It was that, and they had like the snow edition. It was the condensed version of the level 10. Drawing a blank here, people.
Level 5 or GT?
The GT, level 10 GT. Yeah, that's what it was. And had the microphone stand or holder on it.
Could it be? Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jeremy, or whoever actually asked that question.
There it is, right there.
that was more of a funny answer more than anything. But the truth is, sometimes, yeah, I do want somewhere to hang my headset, but it needs to be executed well. And maybe the CAD Max guys, it's Cougar, right?
Yeah, that's Cougar. Who?
Maybe they got it right.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that, and I know that Cougar, like a lot of these manufacturers, this is something else, David, that you could maybe elaborate a bit more, is that a lot of the manufacturers use the same factory for OEM stuff, for like something that's made. Boy, I'm sorry, my audio is really breaking up on my end.
Yeah, same here, but I can hear you.
Anyways, for example, the Cougar, this Panzermax, shares a lot of similarities with pieces made by Corsair. I can see that it's made in the same factory.
Yep.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah. Well, the truth is, it's the same for any IT product, and I suppose any product nowadays. Everything is made in China, right? And you're always going to have a couple of very strong manufacturing OEMs for any industry with a lot of experience making that type of product. So it just makes sense. And once you start trying to get your own products made in China, you quickly realize that there really aren't that many manufacturing players to choose from. There's many to choose from, but you have the bottom 90%, which is all crap, low quality, and they're gonna rip you off. And then there's the top 10%, and those are the ones that everybody end up with in the end, because they know how to make cases, or or make iPads, or make good notebooks. This is the same case for any product category, really. And well, Cougar and Corsair, yes, it's the same factory. Not every single product, because Corsair, just like Fractal Design, or actually Cougar, although Cougar is owned by one of these OEMs, you never go with only one manufacturing partner, you always have a couple.
Right, because you use it for their best assets. Each factory has something they really excel in, so you capitalize on that.
But I'd say for the case business, there's maximum 10 big OEMs that do this for most of the brands.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's probably 100 more factories or 1,000 more factories that do this in China, but you never go to those factories because they're bad. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They're just bad.
Yeah. It seems that Google is being cranky with us for some reason, so the audio quality is starting to degrade a little bit on us. So we're going to close out this Hangout, which has been really awesome to listen to hear these the insight and stories from what you've seen, David.
Cool. Well, hey, my apologies to everyone for my corporate non-answers or avoiding questions.
You did all right.
But yeah, keep supporting Fractal Design and help us make more products that you hopefully like, and because we like it when you use them, and that drives us to make more.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Bill. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Have a great day today.
You too, guys. Good evening. Cheers. Cheers. All the viewers, bye-bye. Thank you. Taiwan, out.
Right on. Yeah, Drew.
Trying to push it through the ending, man. For all of those who are watching live, for all of you who are watching and recording, you can find us at themodzoo.com. Go to our Facebook page, The Mod Zoo. All of those good places, you'll find all of the ways to contact us. Let us know who you want us to try to talk to. Give us any future topic ideas, suggestions that you might have, and go out and mod something up, would you guys?
Yes. Listen to Android Drew and go mod something. Good night, everybody.